Now, we just have reactions from some of the opposition leaders. Benny Gantz of the National Unity Party tweeting out or sending out a message: Netanyahu does not rise above the size of the hour. Today, it is clear that not only democracy will be harmed, but that reform will be a direct harm to Israel's security establishment and national irresponsibility. And knowing clearly, certainly the opposition, again, not accepting the comments today by the Prime Minister.
Right, to say the least. Opposition Leader Yair Lapid even more forceful in his tweet. And maybe just as interesting, Kalev, Gideon Sa'ar, a member of Benny Gantz's National Unity Party, of course. Gideon Sa'ar himself, one time a member of the Likud party, really a part of the core of the Likud.
And one who said he wanted to reform the judicial.
And who has passed judicial reform a number of years ago when he was in the Justice Ministry. In any event, coming out tonight and saying Netanyahu's speech tonight was able to disappoint even those who had no expectations from him. Of course, there's no love lost between Gideon Sa'ar and Benjamin Netanyahu, to say the least. Sa'ar broke away from Netanyahu and joined the opposition to him. But still, this is someone who on their merits, as you just said, Kalev, is willing to be swayed. Look, we guessed after the speech that this wasn't going to move the needle. Again, the opposition politicians will say what they'll say, but in terms of broader public opinion, this wouldn't move the needle. We now know that foreign exchange markets, Kalev, agree with us that this hasn't moved the needle. And again, it brings us back to where we started the evening. What will those members of the Likud party do? Are there 61 votes for this bill come at second and third readings next week or not? And of course, most importantly, what will Defense Minister Yoav Gallant do? He's seen as a potential first mover among this group, but potentially have fellow travelers if and when he decides to move and not vote for this bill. Obviously, that's the next drama at hand. And of course, Netanyahu, it should be said, does have a few more days to work on this and try to change something in the dynamic.
I just remind you that if the bill does pass and it could be challenged in the Supreme Court or High Court of Justice, the government will be asked to defend that piece of legislation. Usually that is the job of the Attorney General, Gali Baharav Miara. And of course, that's why she's such a key figure in this and has become a real point of contention for the Netanyahu government.
That's right. But it has to be said that the legal advisor at the committee level in the Knesset, Kalev, was part of the formulation of this new bill and essentially, from what I understand, said he was on board. So it's not clear that the entire legal establishment is against this to the degree that they won't come out and defend it. They may not be the legislation they would prefer, but is it within the bounds of the defensible in court? Maybe it is. But at any rate, you're right, that may be the next chapter here. But again, I think the first, and if I will say the more dramatic chapter over the next few days, is what happens in the Israeli parliament, and of course, no less important, what happens in Israeli society, Kalev. 48 hours from now, the next protest, another round of enormous Saturday night protests here in Tel Aviv and around the country.
I'm sure that Saturday night protest is going to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest yet, and that'll be the reaction to the developments of today. Owen Alterman, thank you for joining us.